Hello and welcome guys to my YouTube channel. In this video, we will be solving mixed exercises about ratios. Now, if you haven't watched the previous two ratio videos, I would highly recommend you go and watch them first and then watch this video. Now, for every question here, you should pause the video and try to solve the exercise on your own and then check your answer. And don't be discouraged if some of those questions you could not figure out. Some of them are meant to be hard, and some of them are meant to introduce new concepts. You should aim to learn from those concepts. And after this video, and after you understand all the exercises here, you should be able to solve any kind of ratio problem that you might come by in your IGCSEs. Okay, let's start with question 1. A store sells packs of blue markers, packs of yellow markers, and packs of purple markers. There are 3 markers in each pack of blue markers, 4 markers in each pack of yellow markers, and 8 markers in each pack of purple markers. On Wednesday, the number of packs of blue markers sold to the number of packs of yellow markers sold to the number of packs of purple was 5 to 2 to 6. A total of 284 markers were sold. Work out the number of purple markers sold. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is I will write down my ratio. My ratio is 5, 2, and 6. All right. And this is the ratio between the packs of blue that were sold to the packs of yellow to the packs of purple. Okay, so we'll be using those letters to identify each pack. Now I know that I sold a total of 284 markers. Now, a lot of students might make the mistake of adding 5 plus 2 plus 6 and then dividing 284 by the result, which would be 13. Now, this is wrong because the ratio we have over here is between the packs. Okay, so this is a packs ratio, but the total isn't given as packs, it's given as markers. Okay, so I can't use this total with this ratio. Okay, so I hope this makes sense. Now, how will I use this total with this ratio? I need to change this ratio so that instead of representing packs, it should represent the actual markers. Okay, now how will I do that? Well, if you imagine this scenario, what it's saying is that you're selling 5 packs of blue pens, and for every 5 packs of blue pens, you're selling 2 packs of yellow pens, yellow markers, and you're selling 6 packs of purple markers. Now, we can turn this into the actual blue markers and the number of yellow markers and the number of purple markers. Okay, how will I do that? Well, if I sold 5 packs of blue markers, and I know from the question over here that each pack of blue markers have 3 markers. So if I sell 5 packs, how much markers did I sell? It's going to be 5 times 3, and we get 15. Okay. As for the yellow, I sold 2 packs in this ratio, and each yellow pack has 4 markers. So I multiply this part by 4, and we get 8. Finally, for the purple markers, I have 8 in each pack, so I will multiply the 6 by 8, okay, and we get 48. So now this ratio is between my markers. Okay, so I hope this made sense. So this isn't really about scaling up or scaling down a ratio, because when you want to scale up or simplify a ratio, you multiply or divide by the same number, okay? This is about changing the ratio entirely to match my needs, okay? So now, instead of talking about packs, I'm talking about specific markers. So now the ratio of blue markers to yellow markers to purple markers sold is 15, 8, and 48. And now I can use this to find the what each part represents, because we know that we sold a total of 284 markers. So what I will do is add 15 plus 8 plus 48, and this gives us 71. This is the total parts. Now I will go ahead and divide 284 markers divided by 71 so that we can know what each part represents. And we get 4. Okay, so it's 4 markers per part in this ratio. The question is asking us the number of purple markers that were sold. So I will multiply 4 by the purple markers parts, which are 48. All right, so 4 times 48, we get 192 purple markers. Okay, so this is the amount of purple markers that I sold. If I was asked how many, how many packs of purple did I sell, then I would need to have, firstly, I know that I sold 192 purple markers, and every pack of purple has 8 markers, right? So we'll divide this by 8, and we get 24 packs, okay? This is the amount of packs I sold. So it's really important to understand the difference. This is quite a hard and new application where sometimes you have to change the ratio to match your needs, and you should never use a ratio between, like a ratio that expresses something and then your total represents a whole other thing. Okay, they have to match. Hopefully this was clear. Moving on to the next question. Green paint is made by mixing yellow paint and blue paint in the ratio 4:3. Okay, so this is the ratio 4:3 between yellow and blue. Sophie has 28 liters of yellow paint. So we have 28 liters of yellow and 15 liters of blue paint. So 15 liters blue. What is the maximum amount of green paint that she can make? All right. So the way we solve this is as follows. Now, you have your ingredients. You have 28 liters of yellow and you have 15 liters of blue. Okay. Now, the question is, what is the maximum amount? Why is there a maximum amount? It's because just because you have 28 liters of yellow doesn't mean you're going to be able to make what that amount of yellow makes, because you're also limited by the blue. So let's say for 28 liters of yellow, you need, let's say 20 of blue, but you don't have 20, so this doesn't work. So you're not going to use the entire yellow. So how will we solve this problem? We're going to find out how much blue does 28 liters of yellow need, okay? So I'm going to start with this number over here, the ingredient that I have more of, okay? So 28 liters of yellow, and the yellow is supposed to be 4. So 4 parts. So I will divide 28 by 4, and we get 7. All right. Now, so the amount of blue I need is going to be 3 times 7, which is 21 liters. But I don't have that amount of blue, do I now? I only have 15 liters. So that means I'm limited by the blue amount I have, okay? So then I just ask myself, well, if I use all of the blue, how much green will I need? So if we use all of the blue, it's going to be 15 firstly, divided by the parts of the blue, which are 3, so we get 5. Okay, so 5 liters per part. And now I will multiply 5 by 4 to find the amount of yellow that I need, which is 20 liters. Okay, and now do I have 20 liters of yellow? Yes, I do. So how much will I use? I will use 15 liters of blue, and I will use 20 liters of yellow, okay? Now the 8 liters of yellow that are left, I can't use them. They won't give me green paint. So what is the maximum amount of green paint I can make? Well, I'm combining 15 liters of blue with 20 liters of yellow, so the max will be their addition, 15 plus 20, which gives us 35 liters. And this is the final answer. Okay, question 3. Linda sells 360 bottles of juice in the ratio of apple to orange to grape, 3, 5, and 7. Okay, so I'm going to write this ratio down. We've got the apple, we've got the orange, and the grape, and 3, 5, and 7. Okay, and she sold a total of 360 bottles, so I'll also write that down. By now, we should be able to tell that I can actually easily find how many apples we sold, apple juices, how many orange and how many grape, okay? Now let's continue. The profit for one orange juice is 3 times the profit for one apple juice, okay? And the profit for one grape juice is twice the profit for one apple juice, all right? Her total profit is 163.2. Work out the profit for one apple juice. Okay, so it's really important to understand here that the profit over here, I can express it algebraically, okay? So firstly, let's take a look. What's the unit? What's the common thing between both of those sentences? Is that they're both matching with the apple juice, okay? So the orange juice is 3 times the apple juice, and the grape juice is twice the profit for also one apple juice. So what I can say is, let's assume that one apple juice gives us a profit of X, which I don't know, all right? In that case, orange juice is 3 times the profit for apple juice. So orange juice will have a profit of 3X because of 3 times apple juice. And finally, the grape juice is twice the profit. So grape is going to be 2X because it's twice the profit of apple juice. Okay. Now, we know that our total profit was 163.2. Okay. Which means I just need to know firstly the number of apple juice I've sold and multiply that by the profit, which is X, the number of orange and multiply that by 3X, and the number of grape and multiply that by 2X, and all of that will be equal to my profit. Okay, so let's go ahead and find how much did I sell, the quantity I sold of apple, orange, and grape juice. I will add 3 plus 5 plus 7. All right, and we'll get 15. And now I'm going to divide 360 divided by 15. All right, and this should give us 24. So this is the amount, the quantity of juice per part. So how many apple juice did I sell? It's going to be 24 times 3 parts for the apple, and we get 72. And for the orange, it's 24 times 5, and we get 120. And for the grape, it's 24 times 7 parts, and we get 168. Of course, all those numbers, 120 and 72 and 168, they should always add to 360, okay, which is the entire amount that you've solved. All right. So now let's build my algebraic equation and solve it. So I know that my total profit was equal to 163.2. How did I get this profit? Well, I sold 72 apples at a profit of X. So 72 times X. Plus, I sold 120 orange juice at a profit of 3x, so multiplied by 3x, and I have sold 168 grapes, grape juice at a profit of 2x, so multiplied by 2x. All right, so now we're gonna do this step by step. 72x, let's multiply firstly 120 times 3, which gives us 360x, and 168 times 2, which gives us 336x, is equal to 163.2. And now we can just add, collect our like terms. So 72 plus 360 plus 336, you can plug this on the calculator, and we get 768x is equal to 163.2. And finally, I will divide both sides by 768 to get rid of the coefficient of x. And we get our final answer. Let me just plug it on the calculator. Okay, so we get that x is equal to 0.2125. Okay, so if I want to round this to 3 significant figures, it would be 0.213. Okay, so this right here is the profit for the apple. Okay, so for the 1 apple juice bottle. So that's it for this question. You found it. If you were asked about the orange or the grape, you would just multiply this x by 3 or by 2, depending on which profit, profit for which juice you want. Now let's move on to the next exercise. All right, question 4. Emma, Liam, and Noah share some money in the ratio 4, 7, and 10. The difference between the amount, so we have a difference between the amount of money that Liam receives and the amount of money that Noah receives is 210 euros. Work out the amount that Emma receives. All right, so I'm going to start by writing my ratio. We have Emma, Liam, and Noah. And Emma, 4, 7, and 10. Now, what do we know? We know that the difference between Liam, the amount of money that Liam receives, and the amount of money that Noah receives is 210, right? This is the difference, 210, between Liam and Noah, all right? So if you remember from the previous videos, the way we solve this is that we know the amount of difference. So if we just find the parts difference, we can divide the amount by the part and get what we're always looking for, which is what does one part represent. So between Liam and Noah, if you take a look here, Liam has 7 parts and Noah has 10 parts. So the difference between them is going to be 10 minus 7 is equal to 3. So this is the difference in parts. And this right here is the difference in actual money. So I will divide 210 divided by 3, okay? And this gives us 70. So what is the 70? it's the what each part represents. So each part represents $70. Okay. So that's it. What work out the amount that Emma receives. Emma would receive. She has 4 parts, and each part represents 70 euros, and so 4 times 70 will be 280 euros. All right, so hopefully this question was clear. Moving on to question 5. Lucas is 5 years younger than Mia. Ethan is 3 times as old as Lucas. The sum of their 3 ages is 95. Find the ratio of Lucas' age to Mia's age to Ethan's age. All right. So this is very similar to the previous profit question, where we're going to look for the common person between those two sentences, and we can see that it's Lucas, okay? We have Lucas over here and Lucas over here, all right? So I will start by writing out that the age of Lucas is X, all right? Because it's unknown. And now we can take a look at the first sentence. So we know here that Lucas is 5 years younger than Mia, all right? So the question is, what would be the age of Mia? If X, that is being Lucas, is 5 years younger, then Mia would be X plus 5, because Mia is 5 years older than Lucas, all right? So now I figured out Mia. And as for Ethan, so age of Ethan, it is going to be 3 times as old as Lucas. So 3x, all right? So 3 times the age of Lucas. Now we know that the sum of their 3 ages is 95. Now what does sum mean? It's addition, all right? So we'll add all of those. So x plus 5 plus 3x is equal to 95. And now we can just solve this algebraic equations. I'm going to collect the x like terms. So we have x plus 3x, and this gives us 5x plus 5 is equal to 95. And now I will subtract 5 from both sides, and we get that 5x is equal to 90. And finally, to get rid of the coefficient, I will divide through by 5, and 90 by 5 divided by 5 should give us 18. So now we know that x is 18. What is x? It is Lucas's age. So he's 18 years. All right. The question wants us to find the ratio of Lucas' age to Mia's age to Ethan's age. So I will continue to find firstly their ages and then write them as a ratio. So if Lucas was 18, we have 18 plus 5 over here, which will give us 23 years. That is the age of Mia. And Ethan will be 18 times 3, and he will be 54 years. So Ethan is actually quite older than them. All right. So now let's write the final ratio. I'll write it over here. So Lucas to Mia to Ethan. It's important to keep the same order that you're given in the question. Don't change it up. So Lucas is 18, and Mia is 23, and Ethan is 54. Now the question did not ask us to simplify our ratio, so it's fine if we leave it as it is. And by the way, there isn't even a simplification because 23 is a prime number, right? So, and 18 does not divide by 23, so no way will you find anything to divide by. So this is actually the simplest form. All right, let's move on to the next question. Question 6. The population of a town is in the following ratios. Adults to seniors, 7 to 2. Children to seniors, 4 to 1. There are 44 seniors in the town. Find the total population. So as we can see here, we have two different ratios, and I will write them. So adults to seniors, 7 to 2, and children to seniors, 4 to 1. By the way, an exam tip is that you should always mark your ratios with the variables that represent them, okay? You don't have to write the whole thing. That can be time consuming, but if you just write the first letter, it really helps in making sure that you don't accidentally use the wrong ratio, okay? So it's really important to do this. Now, if you remember from the previous video, we talked about how when we have two separate ratios, we should always write them together by looking for a link between them. Now, my link is the common one, which is the seniors. They're common to both of the ratios. So I need to have the senior parts the same. We have a 2 here and we have a 1. So this makes it really easy. I can just multiply this ratio entirely by 2. And we have now 8 to 2. So now it is already common. We have both parts being 2. So I can write that the ratio of adults to seniors to children is 7 to 2 and 8. Right, so this is the ratio, the 3-part ratio. Now we know that there are 44 seniors. 44 seniors. And the question is asking for the total population. If we do have 44 seniors and it's represented by 2 parts, I can just divide. So I will divide 44, divide by 2, and we get 22. So this is the population per part, okay, per 1 part. So how will I find the total population? We can do this 2 ways. The first and easier way is to just simply add all of the parts you have, 7 plus 2 plus 8, which gives us 17, and then multiply 17 parts by 22 people per part, and plug this on the calculator. You get 374. This is the total population. Now, if you find it easier to do this, you can go ahead. Some students find it easier to find separately how many adults we have, which will be 7 multiplied by 22, and it gives us 154. How many seniors we have? You don't have to multiply 2 by 22. We already know 44 seniors. And finally, how many children, which is 8 times 22, which gives us 176. All right. So now we can just add them up. So 154 plus 44 plus 176. And this should give us the exact same answer. It gives us 374. Okay, so both of those are equally valid methods. You can use whichever you're comfortable with. All right, moving on to question 7. There are some blue marbles and some green marbles in a jar in the ratio 2 to 7. There are 35 green marbles, so we know the number of green marbles. I will go ahead and write this information down. So the ratio between blue and green is 2 and 7, and I have 35 green marbles. We should note that with this information, I can easily find how many blue we have and how many marbles in total. Let's continue. Mark adds some more blue marbles into the jar. The ratio of the number of blue marbles to the number of green marbles is now 3 to 5. Okay, so we have a changing ratio scenario. What happened is that Mark added blue marbles. All right, so since he added blue marbles, we have a new ratio between blue and green now, which is 3 to 5. Now we're being asked how many blue marbles did Mark add to the jar, all right? So if you remember, the way we solved such questions is by firstly taking a look over here. Look, we know that we had 35 green marbles and we added blue, which means the green never changed. So in this ratio, we still have 35 green marbles. All right. So I can go ahead and divide 35 by 5, and this gives us 7. So this is the marbles per part for this ratio. So how many blue do I have after mark added? It will be 7 times 3. So 21 blue marbles. All right. Of course, the question doesn't want the final amount of marbles, of blue marbles I have. He wants to know how many blue marbles did Mark add. Now we know that after he added, we have 21. Let's figure out how much was there originally, blue marbles, through this ratio, and we'll subtract to know how much he added. So in this ratio, I will divide my 35 green marbles by 7 parts for green, and this gives us 5. All right, so 5 marbles per part. And for the blue, in this ratio, before I added, it was 2 parts multiplied by 5 marbles per part, okay? And so we have 10 marbles. So how many marbles did Mark add? 21 minus 10, the one I previously added. So he added 11 marbles, all right? This is the final answer. Okay, let's take a look at question 8. Alice and Bob share an amount of money in the ratio 5 to m. Alice gets 40% of the money. Work out the value of m. Okay. So this is actually an easy question, but sometimes students might get confused by the wording. Now it's important to understand that this is the money. Okay, let's say this circle was the money, and Alice got 40% of it, which comes to around this much. So what does that mean? How much did Bob get? Well, he got the rest, which would be how much? It would be 60%. How did you figure this information out? You just subtracted 100 minus 40, because it's 100%, all right? We get 60. So the ratio of money between them is, between Alice and Bob, is 40 for Alice. And if you'd like, you can write this as 40%. It doesn't matter. And Bob received 60%. Now, all I need to do is to simplify this ratio so that I can get what the value of m is. Now, firstly, I would write this as 40 over 100, and I would write this as 60 over 100. And the first thing I'm going to do is multiply through by 100, so I can get rid of the hundreds, so 40 to 60. Okay, and of course you can write this directly from the very beginning, 40 to 60, if you understand how it works. Now let's take a look here, 40 to 60, and we have 5 to m. So clearly the 40 became a 5. How did that happen? Well, we divided by 8. Okay, 40 divided by 8 will give us 5. So we have 5, and then just divide the 60 by 8 on your calculator, and you get 7.5. So what is the value of m? It's 7.5, and that's it. This is the final answer. Now let's move on to the final question. Sarah, John, and Lisa share some money. Sarah gets 1 over 4 of the money. John and Lisa share the rest of the money in the ratio 5 to 3. What is Lisa's share of the money? Okay. So firstly, we have Sarah, we have John, and we have Lisa. And we had an amount of money that Sarah already got 1 over 4 of. So what does that leave for John and Lisa? It leaves them 3 over 4. How did we figure this out? We just subtracted 4 over 4, like that being the total, minus 1 over 4. And you get 3 over 4 is the amount of money that John and Lisa will share. Now, this amount of money, just 3 over 4, is being shared in the ratio 5 to 3 between John and Lisa. So 5 to 3. Okay. So they were being asked, what is Lisa's share? Well, Lisa receives 3 parts out of an entire 8. So she should get 3/8 of this money over here. So multiplied by 3 over 4. And we get 9 over 32. Okay, this is the final answer. So this is Lisa's share of the original amount of money. Like, what you need to understand, I will explain this over here, is that firstly, let's say this circle represents the money. It was divided into 4 parts, and Sarah got this part, which would be 1 over 4. So now John and Lisa have to share this part over here, okay? In the ratio 5 to 3. Now we found, and this represents 3 over 4 as it is, it's not complete. So when we found out that John and Lisa share in the ratio 5 to 3, and that Lisa will take 3/8 of this amount, the amount that Lisa will take is this much over here. Like, we could say it's around this much. Okay, this is all just theoretical, but so this is the amount she got, okay? But this 3 over 8 is of this amount. What the question is asking for, the share of the money entirely from the very original. So if you multiply 3 over 8 multiplied by 3 over 4, you would figure out how much Lisa got from the original money, the fraction that represents that, which would be 9 over 32. Okay, so hopefully this was clear. And that's it for this video. Thank you for watching.